It's so beautiful here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, the island always has a way of showing its best side.
In the rolling hills of ancient Ketu, where the coconut trees whispered secrets to the wind and the red earth held memories of 1,000 ancestors, there lived a young farmer named Mensah. His calloused hands knew the rhythm of the seasons, and his gentle heart had won the love of the most beautiful maiden in 7 villages, Amma. Amma's laughter was like the song of the weaver bird at dawn, her skin smooth as shea butter, and her eyes sparkled with the wisdom of her grandmother Nana Akojua, the village's most respected elder. The two lovers had been promised to each other since childhood, their families already preparing for a wedding that would unite 2 of the strongest bloodlines in Ketu. But darkness has a way of finding light, doesn't it? 3 moons before their wedding, a mysterious woman appeared in the village market. She moved like mist through the stalls, her beauty so otherworldly that grown men forgot their own names. She called herself Afia, claiming to be a trader from the distant Ashani lands. Her skin was pale as moonlight, her hair flowed like black silk, and when she smiled, something cold stirred in the shadows. The village elders whispered among themselves. No one remembered seeing her arrive. No one knew where she slept. Yet every morning, there she was, selling trinkets that seemed to shimmer with their own light. Copper bracelets that never tarnished, cowrie shells that hummed with strange melodies, and mirrors that reflected more than just faces. Young Kofi, the blacksmith's apprentice, was the first to fall under her spell. He would abandon his forge to follow Afia through the village paths, his eyes glazed like a man trapped in a dream. His betrothed, Aku, wept bitter tears as she watched the boy she loved become a hollow shell of himself. Then came Ya, the chief's youngest son. Then Bomani, the strongest hunter in 3 villages. One by one, the young men began to change. They stopped eating, stopped sleeping, stopped speaking to their families. They would gather around Afia's stall like moths drawn to a flame that would surely consume them. Nana Akojua's ancient eyes saw what others could not. She had lived through 80 seasons, had witnessed the last great drought, had helped birth half the village, and had buried her own children. Her weathered hands trembled as she prepared her divination bones one moonless night. "Child," she whispered to Amma, her voice like dry leaves rustling. "Evil walks among us wearing beauty's mask. The spirits are restless. They speak of the Samanja, the soul stealer who appears as a bride seeking a husband." Amma's heart clenched like a fist. But grandmother, Mensah is strong. His spirit is pure. "Purity attracts darkness, my child," Nana Akojua interrupted, her cloudy eyes fixed on something beyond the physical world. "The Samanja feeds on the souls of good men. She appears in times of joy, just before weddings, just before harvests, when love and hope are strongest. She steals what makes us human and leaves behind empty vessels." The very next day, as if summoned by their conversation, Afia appeared at Mensah's farm. He was working shirtless in the yam fields, sweat glistening on his dark skin as he worked the red earth his father had left him. When he looked up and saw her approaching, time seemed to slow like honey dripping from a calabash. "Good morning, farmer," Afia said, her voice like silk wrapped around blade. "Your field are the most beautiful I have seen in all my travels." Mensah straightened, wiping his brow with the back of his hand. Something about this woman made his skin crawl, yet he found himself unable to look away. "Thank you, sister. The ancestors blessed this land." Afia's laughter tinkled like silver bells, but underneath it, Mensah heard something else, the sound of wind through an empty skull. "I am no sister to you, strong farmer. I am Afia, and I have traveled far seeking a husband worthy of my gifts." As she spoke, she moved closer, and Mensah noticed that her feet made no impression in the soft earth. The birds that usually sang in the acacia trees fell silent. Even the insects stopped their buzzing. The very air around her seemed to thicken with an unnatural cold. "I'm already promised," Mensah managed to say, though his voice sounded distant to his own ears. "I will marry Amma when the next full moon rises." Afia's eyes, beautiful, terrible eyes, seemed to look right through him. "Promises to the living are easily broken," she whispered, and when she smiled, Mensah caught a glimpse of teeth too sharp, too white, too many. From that day forward, Mensah began to change. Amma noticed it first, the way he would stare at nothing for hours, the way his strong hands would tremble when he tried to hold her, the way his laughter had lost its warmth. His mother, Mama Akojua, watched her son grow thinner each day, as if something inside him was being slowly consumed. "He barely touches his food," she confided to Nana Akojua. "He speaks Amma's name, but his eyes look through her as if she were made of air. What evil has taken hold of my son?" The old woman's face was grave as she prepared another divination. The bones told a story that made her blood run cold. "The Samanja has marked him," she whispered. "She is preparing to claim him completely. We must act before the new moon rises, or we will lose him forever." But Afia was cunning. She knew the village elders suspected her true nature, so she began to move more carefully, more cleverly. She would appear to Mensah in his dreams, dancing at the edge of his consciousness like a beautiful nightmare. In these visions, she would promise him eternal love, eternal youth, eternal pleasure. All he had to do was forget his mortal attachments. "Come with me, Mensah," she would whisper in these dreams, her form shifting between the beautiful woman and something else, something with too many limbs and eyes like burning coals. "I can give you more than any mortal woman ever could. I can show you pleasures beyond the flesh, knowledge beyond the living world. All you must do is surrender your soul willingly." Each night, Mensah found it harder to resist. His love for Amma began to feel like a distant memory, like something that had happened to someone else. The life force that had once burned bright within him dimmed to barely glowing embers. Amma, desperate to save the man she loved, sought help from the most powerful source she knew, her grandmother's ancient wisdom. Together, they consulted the spirits of their ancestors, burning sacred herbs and calling upon the protection of their bloodline. "There is a way," Nana Akojua revealed after 3 days of ritual preparation, "but it will require great courage and greater sacrifice. The Samanja can only be defeated by one who loves purely and is willing to risk everything for that love. You must challenge her for Mensah's soul, child. You must face her in her true form." Amma's hands shook as she understood what her grandmother was asking. "How do I challenge a spirit? How do I fight something that is not truly alive?" "With truth," the old woman replied, her eyes reflecting the firelight like ancient amber. "The Samanja's power comes from deception, from making men believe her illusions. But she cannot touch a soul that sees her clearly. You must make Mensah see what she truly is." The plan was dangerous, terrifyingly so. On the night of the new moon, when Afia's power would be strongest, Amma would confront the spirit at the crossroads where 3 ancient paths met. This was where spirits were said to be most vulnerable, where the veil between worlds was thinnest. Amma prepared herself with rituals passed down through generations of her family's women. She rubbed her skin with blessed shea butter mixed with ground bones of her ancestors. She wore her grandmother's protective amulets, cowrie shells that had been blessed by 10 generations of wise women, iron bangles forged in sacred fires, and around her neck, a pendant made from her own grandmother's tooth. As midnight approached, she made her way to the crossroads, her heart hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. The night was thick with unnatural silence. No insects sang, no night birds called. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. And there, standing in the center where the 3 paths crossed, was Afia, but not as the village had seen her. In the moonless dark, her true form was partially revealed. She was tall, unnaturally tall, with limbs that bent in ways human limbs should not. Her beautiful face flickered between human features and something else, something with hollow eye sockets and a mouth full of needle-sharp teeth. So, Afia's voice came from everywhere and nowhere. "The little bride thinks to challenge me? How amusing. I have been claiming souls since before your ancestors learned to walk upright, child. What makes you think you can succeed where warriors and priests have failed? Alma forced herself to stand straight, though every instinct screamed at her to run. Because I love him, she said simply, and love is stronger than the hunger of the dead. Afia's laughter was like breaking glass. Love? Child, I will show you what your precious Mensah truly thinks of your love. With a gesture of her impossibly long fingers, the spirit conjured an image in the air. Mensah, but not as Alma knew him. This Mensah's eyes burned with unholy fire as he embraced Afia, his hands roaming over her shifting form while he spoke words of devotion that cut Alma's heart like knives. You see, Afia hissed. He has already chosen. His soul yearns for me. Your little mortal love is nothing compared to the ecstasy I can provide. But Alma had prepared for this. Her grandmother had warned her that the Samanja would try to break her spirit with false visions. She closed her eyes and spoke the words Nana Akojua had taught her. I call upon the spirits of my mothers and their mothers before them. I call upon the truth that flows in my blood and the love that lives in my heart. Show me what is real. The false vision shattered like pottery hitting stone. In its place, Alma saw the truth. Mensah, trapped in a cocoon of dark energy, his life force being slowly drained away. His eyes were closed, his breathing shallow, and around him swirled the stolen souls of all the young men Afia had claimed over the centuries. Now, I challenge you, spirit, Alma declared, her voice growing stronger with each word. Release Mensah's soul, and I will take his place. One soul for another. That is the ancient law. Afia's true form became more visible in her rage, a writhing mass of shadow and hunger with burning eyes scattered across her shifting surface. You would sacrifice yourself for him? How pathetically noble. Very well, little bride. But know this, when I take your soul, it will not be quick. I will savor every moment of your despair. The spirit began to circle Alma, growing larger and more terrible with each step. The air itself seemed to thicken with malevolent energy. But Alma had one more card to play, the most dangerous gamble of all. Wait, she called out. I have a better proposal. If you are as powerful as you claim, prove it. Take us both, but only if you can break the bond between us. If our love is as weak as you say, it should be easy for one such as you. Afia paused, intrigued despite herself. Spirits like her were proud creatures, and the challenge appealed to her vanity. Interesting. You would pit your mortal love against my ancient power? Very well. I will take you both into my realm, and there we shall see which is stronger, the bond between mortals or the hunger of the eternal dead. The golden light grew brighter, and now it began to wake the stolen souls. One by one, they began to remember who they had been, began to remember the people who had loved them. The young blacksmith Kofi remembered Aku's tears. The chief's son remembered his mother's lullabies. Each memory of love was like another crack in Afia's power. Afia made one final, desperate attempt to stop Alma. She transformed into a perfect copy of Mensah, beautiful, beloved, calling out with his voice. Alma, my love, don't listen to that creature. I'm here, I'm real. Come to me instead. For a moment, Alma hesitated. The false Mensah was perfect in every detail, down to the small scar on his chin from a childhood accident. But then she looked into his eyes, and she knew. You have his face, she said sadly, but you don't have his soul. Mensah's eyes hold the sunset over the yam fields. Mensah's eyes hold dreams of our children's laughter. Your eyes hold only hunger. With that final declaration of truth, Alma reached Mensah's suspended form and pressed her lips to his in a kiss that contained all the love she had ever felt and ever would feel. The golden light exploded outward, shattering Afia's chains, freeing all the stolen souls, and banishing the spirit back to whatever dark realm had spawned her. The Samanja's final scream echoed across dimensions as her form dissolved like salt in water. This is not possible. Love makes all things possible, Alma whispered as the dark realm crumbled around them. They awoke in the village. surrounded by the families of all the young men who had been freed from the spirit's influence. Mensah's eyes, clear now and filled with recognition, focused on Amma's face as if seeing her for the first time. "My love," he whispered, his voice hoarse but real. "I dreamed I was lost in darkness, but your voice called me home." The village celebrated for 7 days and 7 nights. The young men who had been affected slowly recovered their strength and their memories, though they would always carry a deep respect for the power of genuine love. Afia was never seen again, and the cursed trinkets she had sold crumbled to dust in the morning sun. Mensah and Amma were married under the full moon, just as originally planned. Nana Akojua, tears of joy streaming down her weathered cheeks, blessed their union with words that would be remembered for generations. "Let this be a lesson to all who hear this tale," the old woman declared. "Evil may be powerful, spirits may be ancient, but love, true love that demands nothing and gives everything, love is the strongest force in all the worlds." And they say that even now, in the village of Ketu, when young couples face difficulties in their relationships, the elders tell them the story of Amma and Mensah, how love conquered death itself, how truth defeated deception, and how one brave woman's heart saved not just her beloved, but an entire generation of souls. The ghost bride who stole souls learned that day that there are some things that cannot be taken, cannot be conquered, cannot be destroyed, only freely given. And the greatest of these is love.
Thanks for watching. What moral lesson did you take away? Share in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories.